Coming at you live to Nebraska.
I said, hold up, wait a minute. That's right.
On air and online at ticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Jake Bachhoven and Enrique Alvarez Cleary.
Dr. Pepper, seriously, this has ever happened to me.
Thanks to Good Sense. It is Good Sense Friday. I've got my Dr. Pepper, and it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
That was unnecessary.
I'm gonna do that every Good Sense Friday. I think it's gonna start a tradition around here. I'm still looking to get it sponsored by Dr. Pepper someday because
if your Dr. Pepper sponsorship comes before my Mountain Dew sponsorship, we have a problem.
is that competing? Is that Coke versus Pepsi?
No,
Or
but I'm
they
just saying that I got Mountain Dew for blood. And,
Yeah.
the radio knows this. I've been saying this for years.
Yeah.
So if you get a sponsorship before me, I'm going to be mad.
Almost as if they have such a big brand they don't need us or something. I'm not really sure what's going on.
I think they could use us.
They could use us, especially in the Lincoln market. Dr.
Exactly.
Pepper and to a lesser extent Mountain Dew.
Nobody drinks Mountain Dew around here. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, at any point, if you tested my Dr. Pepper alcohol level, no, what is it? BAC blood Dr. Pepper
Something like that.
content.
Yeah.
It'd be over the legal limit, I think. But I promote maybe not having so much sugar, but I try. I mean, it's Dr. Pepper. It's delicious. You know, for Mountain Dew, I'm a Code Red guy.
I do like Code Red, but
Yeah.
just the OG is.
No,
I mean, I'm a Baja Blast. If I could get Baja Blast all year, I would. But just the OG Mountain Dew is good enough for
What
me.
do you mean all year? Taco Bell has it all year.
Yeah, but I
It's
can't
just
go to
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell every single day. Like if I could just get like a fountain of Baja Blast in my house, I would.
Yeah.
Kind of like just like a water fountain, but instead of water, it's
Yeah.
Baja Blast. Sign me up.
That wouldn't really work too well if it didn't have tacos with it. I
would. I don't need tacos with it. I just need that.
Well, but it's a natural pairing
I
because
could
they
do it
don't
with
have
everything.
Baja Blast outside of Taco Bell. Do
Nope.
They?
Nowhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
They sell in the summer now.
Oh
You
yeah.
can get it in bottles and
That's
cans in the
right.
summer, but I don't need tacos with it. I'll drink it with whatever. You ever had Baja Blast with just a nice T-bone? It's fantastic.
I just imagine you going to Taco Bell now
Baja Blast
on your way
with
home with like a steak.
Baja Blast with like some spaghetti. It's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
It pairs really well.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Kevin Meyer talks about
Yeah,
wine pairings,
yeah.
Baja Blast pairings, everything.
Baja Blast is
Baja Blast
automatically
and pizza.
appears.
I tell you what.
Hey, we got a call from one of the best listeners out there, Bob. How's it going, Bob?
Hey, it's going on, guys. Hey, I work nights,
Oh yeah.
so I don't get to. So I don't get to call in. I'm usually sleeping during the day. You guys are on, so this is the first time I got to talk about that game on Friday. I
Oh, yeah.
told you all. I told you that Nebraska had another win in them. I told you that they were going to beat Iowa, and they took it to them.
How about that, Bob?
Until the
made
fourth
call.
quarter.
Yeah, until the fourth. Were you nervous there in the fourth quarter? Were you worried about your prediction?
No, actually, funny part about it was that I was like, I wasn't nervous, and these people right next to me, we were down at the Haymarket, and it's like, oh, here we go again, here we go. I go, what? I go, just because we fumbled the ball. Look, they didn't make another yard. They had to kick the field goal. I said, we got this. We got this. So, yeah, I was not worried a bit. And I was, it's like, we had this, we're going to do this. And I had my radio on because I take my radio with me during games. So I had my radio on. It was ahead of the television. And it's like, don't tell us. And it's like really hard not to get excited knowing what was going on. And it's like, yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a short-lived time because obviously they moved it over to Coach Rule the next day.
Mhm.
Bob, I don't
that
know if
was
we've talked to you. Have you?
That was,
What do you think about the Rule hire?
I tell you what. I was so high on Friday.
Whoa,
because
you don't
of the
need to
game.
tell us that. Okay,
And
yeah,
on
that's fine.
Saturday, when I heard the game, and Saturday when I heard the thing, it was like it went down from real high to real low.
Huh.
Because I really wanted Nikki, and and it's like, okay, Now, my thing is, before the Mickey thing, because I don't even want to get into the Mickey thing, because it's,
Please don't.
that's a sad situation. So, and, that's tough and sad situation. But before the Mickey thing, it was like, if they don't hire Mickey, he comes in here and cleans house and don't hire Mickey and don't keep any of the other staff, he better have a plan. Looking at the schedule for next year, Michigan is the team to beat, not Ohio State. Michigan. Michigan knows how to beat Ohio State. Michigan knows how to win it. And that has been physical. That is being tough. That's what Mickey was installing. And it's like, if you're going to break everything down, you better go 12-0, 11-1 at the least. Because that shows that you know how to do everything. You got the plan. Now you get, and we're paying you $9 million. You better have it right.
How's this plan here, Bob? Hold on, just listen to this. This was Matt Rule with Jim Rome. Tell me if you like this plan.
I love the fact that my style of football, being physical, running the football, playing great defense, that fits Nebraska.
How about that play? That sound like what you want?
Let's see it. Let's see it happen. How many coaches have come in here and said we got to be physical? We got to be physical. Didn't practice physical. Didn't practice tackling. Okay, and turned around, and they're gone. They're gone. So I want to see it. I want to see it. Mickey was installing it, so I have faith in Mickey. I don't know what this is going to look like. So now it's a wait and see game. Am I still going to root for Nebraska? Hell yeah, I'm still rooting for Nebraska.
All right, let's get a go big red from you before you let go, Bob.
Huh?
Let's get a go big red for you before we let you go.
Go big red!
Go big red! Go big red! All right, thank you, Bob. We're gonna have to let you go there, but there you have it. Bob called the Iowa game, and man, it does. I'm not one of those people. I know there's a few people that were upset, wanted a 24-hour break between the Iowa win and the in the announcement. I understand you got to move quickly. They wanted to get Matt Rule on College Game Day. I figure we just have the rest of the. You don't have another game to look for. You can celebrate the Iowa win as long as you want.
Yeah, I mean, I think 24 hours would have been nice.
What's the cutoff? What's the cutoff? 24?
Yeah, just 24.
Why?
That's always been the cutoff. 24 hours has always been the cutoff for celebrating a win. You get 24 hours and then you move on.
But
they didn't get 24 hours
to celebrate. Those players can celebrate as long as they want.
They didn't get to celebrate.
Yeah, they did. You can still celebrate.
Everything got flipped upside down the very next day.
You've been waiting for like 4 months to find out what's going to happen. Everybody just was dying to hear at the
exactly. You had one more day.
They could have
waited one more day.
No, I love.
And with how fast things are going right now, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine how it worked out. They've had Matt Rule do a lot of media appearances, and I'm not sure if they had him or he wanted to do it. But the publicity's been great for Matt Rule. And you remember when Mike Riley was hired, he kind of did some, what was that, like bowl game coverage or like, they have that panel in the national championship game. I don't remember if it was the championship game or the semifinals or whatever he was on there. But it's good to get the publicity out there, where the end.
It is. I still don't like it.
You still didn't like the 24 hours.
Should have waited 24 hours, and then it would have been, because then you do it on Sunday, and you get the whole NFL Sunday of people talking about Matt Rule, and then you could have done all of you could have had the presser the next day instead of having the announcement of him being the next coach, and then having to wait 2 days before the presser and all this weirdness getting thrown around of who's he going to keep, who's he going to bring in. I mean, you still had to wait regardless, but that Sunday was just a mess of things going on. I mean, you had your head coach, but it was just all the speculation and who's going to stay and who's going to go and how's the recruiting going to go and just everything. You didn't even get to relish in the fact that, I mean, look, we're on this next week, and sometimes we're getting through halfway through the week, and we're like, oh yeah, Nebraska beat Iowa. That's something that you just kind of gloss over, because it's like you beat Iowa, and I don't know, 12 hours later, it's, oh, by the way, now you have a new head coach. So you're not even getting to talk about Nebraska beating Iowa and how great that game was for them, how they almost blew it again in the fourth quarter. And, despite Bob saying that he didn't have any doubt, I was terrified.
Most of us.
I was terrified. I was like, oh, here we go again. We didn't get to talk about that. We've been talking about Matt Rule all week.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that right now, like a week ago, we didn't know if Nebraska was going to beat Iowa.
Exactly.
Since then, you could write a book about what's happened.
We were getting ready to send it to break to go to the pregame show.
Yeah.
Me and you were.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about Nebraska beating Iowa all week. We've been talking about Matt Rule. You realize that?
Of course. Well, yeah, of course. That's what's going to happen.
We talk about Trey Palmer with 2 touchdowns and having the best single season receiving in Nebraska
He
history.
buried that lead by leaving. There's nothing we could do about that.
We haven't been able to talk about how Anthony Grant should have had 1,000 yards, but didn't because they gave up on the run halfway through the season. And for some reason, he decided to run east and west and not north and south in the Iowa game, got benched. And Ramir Johnson, of all people, comes in and hits the hole harder than I've seen anybody hit a hole this season. I haven't seen him all season. We didn't get to talk about the great game that he had. We didn't get to talk about the fact that the offensive line actually did really well in pass protection. Run blocking, not so much. We didn't get to talk about the defense and Quentin Newsom dropping 2 easy interceptions. And then finally, the defense coming up with an interception late in the game by Chris Kolarovich, who is his first interception of his Nebraska career. Couldn't have come at a bigger moment. We didn't get to talk about any of that. We can talk about the sack fumbles by Edova Malka Clements, who, again, we really haven't seen all year except for on special teams. He comes in, and I think he was second on the team in tackles with like 7. 2 sack fumbles, 1 recovered by Garrett Nelson, who, if he was just a smidge faster, maybe could have scored a touchdown. None of this. We didn't talk about any of this. We've been talking about Matt Rule all week.
Well, and we do know, by the way, that if we're talking about it now, it still doesn't count because we don't have any. Our airwaves are not good. We're not have dead air on the radio.
I know.
We understand that we're working to address that. So we thank those of you on the Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and just for letting us know. But we know, and we are working on it. Not us personally. We wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And,
I know. There's a lot of electronic devices over there. I don't want to mess anything up, so I'm not going to touch any of it. But we got people working on it.
I know you're a big video game guy. Did you ever beat your video game when it wouldn't work? Like if it froze?
Oh, yeah. That's all you do.
Yeah,
you hit the system. You just
you
you kind of look at it and you're like, it's not working. Then you just go
throw the controller at it or something.
and then you either hit it and it works or you just restart it and it works. Unplug it, plug it back in, or you're good to go.
Always happens when you have like a lead in the 4th quarter.
Oh, and then it was always on the PS2 when you had to have the memory cards and you didn't save it from your last checkpoint, so then you have to go through the whole thing again, and maybe you just it's always after you get past a boss that took you way too long to beat. Nah. Hate it.
Frustrating stuff. But I'm glad you said that those PlayStation 2 memory cards, because those were kind of cool. I know they're no longer useful, but I kind of like bringing those things around because you could play like a franchise at your house and just take it to your friend's house.
Oh, yeah. It was fantastic.
Yeah. You can't do that as much anymore. At least I don't think so. I'm not as caught up with the technology.
You don't need any more memory cards. It's all saved on the system and saved into the cloud, and you got out external hard drives and all that stuff.
Can I play my franchise on my Xbox and then go to your house and play it on your Xbox? Or I have to if
it's in the cloud, you'd have to sign in. It'd have to be on like the cloud. Then you'd have to download your stuff, your saved files.
It would be rough.
Yeah, it'd be a whole thing.
PlayStation 2.
You know, like Game Share though. Like, well, I don't know if you can anymore. You used to be able to on PS4. You would sign into somebody else's PS4, and you could do it. Somebody gives you their login. You log in on your PS4, and it downloads the game for you. So if they have it like online downloaded, then it's on there, and then you can play it. But Sony kind of, I think they nixed that.
They don't
so
like
you can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
there's less money for them.
They're saying we sound a bit robotic-y.
I like being a robot.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a robot, but we'll work on that too. Obviously, a few technological difficulties here. We also wanted to get to the news of the day. There's some things to talk about. Of course, this kind of broke yesterday, but still waiting. I mean, I thought today would be an extension from yesterday, the Nebraska transfers. Ernest Hausman, Brant Banks, Dakotas Crawford, all entering the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Ernest Hausman, obviously the biggest one there.
That one sucks.
And you got to think that was, I was kind of thinking this, of any young player, maybe A.J. Allen, outside of A.J. Allen, maybe before A.J. Allen. But I mean, those are the two that come to mind. Like, those are the guys those are the foundation pieces.
Yep. That's your future.
Yeah.
Those guys are your future. But I'm thinking, with everybody checking out the coaching staff directory or whatever on the Huskers website, that Barrett Ruud, the guy who was coaching Ernest Hausman, I think did a lot of his recruiting. Don't think he's going to be on the staff anymore. that might be a reason why Ernest Hausman is transferring. But even then, so all these guys are entering the transfer portal. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to leave. That just means they're, weighing their options. They're seeing what else is out there. They might still come back. They can still come back. And how everybody's like, well, it's the NIL deals and they're leveraging for it. Sometimes it may be that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not. I'm not going to speculate on what they're doing or why they're entering the portal, but there is a chance that all three of those guys, come back to Nebraska. And I mean, there's going to be a lot. All right, that's just kind of the reality of it. When you fire your head coach and then your interim coach doesn't get the job, and then isn't going to be on staff, and everybody built a relationship with one or both of those guys, and neither one of them are going to be back, it just makes sense that your roster's probably going to get flipped over. Now, Matt Rule and his staff are going to do their best to keep as many players as they can that fit their system, but there's also going to be players who might be talked to enter the portal. Some current recruits who might be talked to decommit from Nebraska because they don't quite fit the style that Matt Rule and his staff are looking for. And that's something that happens. Sometimes it is the kid's choice. Sometimes it's not their choice. That's just the business of college football right now. So when you see somebody decommit, when you see somebody enter the transfer portal, I mean, you shouldn't do this regardless, but don't tweet mean things. Don't harbor ill will for that person. Just let them go about their way and wish them the best.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do. And like you said, there's a chance that they come back even in a transfer portal a few years from now. I mean, they can always return.
Yep.
So in either way, especially a guy like Hausman, you're going to cheer your in-state guys one way or the
other.
Yeah. And shout out to Brent Banks, Ticket alumni. Great guy.
Shout out Brent Banks.
Yeah, that too.
That makes me sad. This is a cool guy.
That makes you a little sad. But he'll still be alive.
Ed Foley got a Runza meal.
Hey, that's a good update.
There you go. Ed Foley recruiting in Omaha got himself a Runza meal.
Officially a Nebraska guy, Ed Foley.
There
that's
you
what
go.
You have to do. Either that or Valentino's. Or Good Sense Fridays.
Definitely Good Sense.
Good Sense Fridays is the way to go. All right, we got our normal Brian Munson coming up here on Good Sense Friday to break down all the recruiting that's going on with the new staff. We'll be right back here on the Ticket Water Cooler.
Dr. Pepper is seriously the best thing that has ever happened to me.
Get to the ice box. Way to Twin Cons. Your link our game home line against one of their toughest opponents of the season and needs you at the ice box to cheer them on. Friday night is $2 night with hot dogs, beer, and soda, all available for $2. And Saturday is Superhero Night and Guys Night Out. Tickets are available now at LincolnStars.com.
Schaefer here for Trek CBD. It's football season, and that means you're tailgating with friends, or if you're like me, yelling at the TV during Vikings games. Trek CBD has a variety of products that help calm me down during the games, so I don't scare my dog. But in the rare cases that I yell too much, there's CBD products for him, too, and all other pets. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Trek CBD has it all at 84th and Aderman. Trek CBD done right.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is having a hire event this Friday, December 2nd and Saturday, December 3rd. Stop by between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Friday or from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday to learn more about their opportunities for your next career. Interviews will be conducted both days. Wages grow up to $20 per hour. Make plans to attend Friday or Saturday at 12851 Dover Street in Waverly. And if you can't make it, you can always apply at tractorsupply.jobs or text DC to 25000. Tractor Supply, for life out here.
Riddles Jewelry is excited to showcase the scintillating Levion Jewelry Collection. Levion is known for their love of reinventing fine designer jewelry through unique combinations of chocolate diamonds, vibrant gemstones, and precious metals. Levion and Riddles Jewelry, two family-owned businesses who put customers at the heart and colors your world better than Levion. So visit Jewelry today and receive $100 off any Levion purchase
at Jewelry Gateway.
What does continuing education mean to you? At Southeast Community College, it means helping you advance. Whether that's a fundamental course in accounting or marketing to help your business, or helping you become a better leader. SCC can help you take the next step. Financial assistance is available too. Learn more about our business development classes at southeast.edu/continuing education. SCC, your path to personal and professional development.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
All I'm saying is there's a process that has to happen, and I don't know that in year one is when you need to be worrying about how many games you need to get to satisfy the fan base. I don't think that should be part of the equation in year one. I think what we should be interested on outside is that he lays a solid foundation that enables the program to grow from there.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Trendy or traditional, Gary Michaels Clothiers specializes in men's tailored clothing. Off the rack or custom made to measure is simply no better shopping experience. Offering designer furnishings, sportswear, shoes, outerwear, and accessories for a man always concerned at looking his best. With world-class tailoring and personal service, makes Gary Michaels Clothiers Nebraska's favorite man. Come visit us now at Village Gardens, south of 56th and Pine Lake Road in Lincoln.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Very mild conditions here for our Friday as we'll top out at around 62. But eventually behind a cold front this afternoon, temperatures will start to fall towards evening. And northwest winds could gust 40 to 45 as a wind advisory will be in effect this evening and tonight. A low of 15 tonight with a high tomorrow of around 37. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler. Brought to you by Wingstop on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Happy Friday to everybody out there. Good Sense Friday here in the building. So thanks to Good Sense for hooking us up with some nice lunch. And thanks to our weekly guest, Brian Munson, for joining us once again. And things are quite a bit different than last time we spoke with him, as we were talking about
just a smidge.
Just 1 week ago, we didn't even know if Nebraska was going to beat Iowa. And since then, a lot has happened. So let's catch up with it and look toward the future as well in recruiting, as that is going to be a major focus this offseason with Brian Munson of On3 and Husker Online. Brian, how are you doing today?
Wait, there's newsworthy items out of Nebraska football? I am not aware. I did not.
You might have, if not, you might be beaten by your competition there. So we might let you go and let you go start typing some stuff up.
This is very true. Honestly, I just got the phone with Sean, and Sean's sitting here saying about, the staff hitting the road this morning, Matt Rule being out on the road in Lincoln, and we're trying to track in-home visits. Sounds like Maverick Union will be in home, have an in-home visit on Monday night. Like Nebraska be in home with Malachi Coleman tonight. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Let's go ahead and get started.
Wow. Well, let's dive into it. You mentioned it there at the end. I think a lot of people a little bit shaken by seeing Malachi Coleman decommit, wondering if there's a possibility for Matt Rule to make some inroads there. You said he's going to be making the visit tonight?
Yeah, in-home should be tonight. And obviously the decommitment yesterday surprised me, surprised Sean. We were kind of talking about it actually a little bit briefly before. It's just one of those things where it seemed like a little bit of patience here could have gone a long ways. I think when Mickey Joseph probably became part of the picture that he was not going to be retained at Nebraska. What might have been valuable is understanding who the wide receivers coach was going to be, and maybe waiting for today to see Matt Rule at the high school, maybe waiting for tonight to see Matt Rule at home, or even the 12-9, official visit that the rest of the 2023 class, for the most part are going to be in town to see. So, I think that there's a market there, obviously, for a great athlete. He's a wonderful athlete. He's got a ton of potential. And I'm sure Matt Rule is just absolutely drooling seeing him, work and his speed and his length. But obviously there's going to be a need to kind of refold him back in again and let him kind of hear about what kind of offense they're going to run at Nebraska. And he's going to probably, wait it out now until February before he decides to do anything like re-sign or actually sign in February and probably recommit sometime before that. So we've got some more time and things to deal with here, but it sounds like he might be headed to Michigan, the weekend after that 12-9 visit that the other team was supposed to take in December.
So, Brian, the new staff, or currently what is constructed of the new staff, is making the rounds in the state of Nebraska. Can you give us some of the names of the currently uncommitted players that, or maybe some guys in the 2024 class that Nebraska might be trying to keep their eye on, or maybe flip or get to, maybe not commit, but just get a stronger relationship with?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Matt Rule starts out in Lincoln and he goes to Lincoln High, Lincoln East, Lincoln Southeast. He catches, Gunnar Gatula and obviously Malachi, who we had mentioned before, but he also stops in to see Benny Nagoe. And Benny Nagoe is an interesting dude because on paper, similar numbers, similar height, similar athleticism to Malachi. That's a guy that's got to be catching Nebraska's eye too, and obviously has got that ability to maybe play another position, maybe go to the other side of the football, play some secondary. I think then after that you got to kind of look east. Nebraska was in Omaha. You got to stop in and see Gretna, Mason Goldman, who holds a Nebraska offer as an offensive tackle. St. Flores, is there really a chance there? Potentially for Flores in Nebraska. It doesn't sound like that's really much of a possibility. I know that from there, the offensive coordinator, Marcus Satterfield, was heading over to Omaha West Side, going to check in with Christian Jones, 2025 linebacker, Caleb Benning, 2024 defensive back. And then obviously, Matt Rule actually offered Jalen Lloyd on Sunday before he was even announced as the head coach. So lots of good stuff happening over there at West Side. I think there's probably one big thing to kind of watch here as we kind of head into this day, and maybe even a guy that I might circle here a little bit, because I think that there was some neglect going back to Scott Frost and Verduzco. I think Mickey Joseph was trying to kind of right the ship there, but I think that Matt Rule is going to take it, and even push it even further into getting a lot of attention. But Daniel Kaelin, I think from Bellevue West is going to get a lot of attention. I think Nebraska and Matt Rule and his staff are really going to like what they see from him on film. I know that obviously you've got the two wide receivers in Davon Hall and Isaiah McMorris that are holding offers now, 2024 guys. Omaha North defensive lineman Tyson Terry. He's actually shown up very, very early on some of the new staff's Twitter follows. He was one of the very first underclassmen to show up on any of them. So I would take that away as a huge compliment for him. And also, another guy I think Nebraska is going to be checking in on is going to be Tristan Albano. And Tristan Albano obviously had a great Class A state final. He's got, he had the big kick and has basically that clutch kind of thing going for him, along with the big leg. But I think that there is going to be some shakeups happening in the kicking room, and a guy like Albano becomes very, very valuable at that point. You might look to see if Brennan Frankie is going to enter the transfer portal here, but Albano could do kickoffs as well as field goals.
Interesting. And another in-state guy that did receive an offer was Westside track star Jalen Lloyd. Is that, because I know he was kind of leaning toward just running track, before that offer. I don't know if this will change his mind, but how does he project as a football player? Obviously, you can't teach speed, but, is he a bit of a project as a football player at the D1 level, or why wasn't he getting too much attention, I guess, outside of Nebraska?
Well, I think that the speed aspect really comes out of there first, and I think that there's always been like this strong desire to kind of get into an area where you can kind of run track a little bit more year round. When you start talking about Texas Tech, Florida, and Georgia, and kind of able to kind of do those things where he had those track offers. As a football player, he did actually have an offer to Texas Tech. He was holding other area offers like Illinois and Northern Iowa, North Dakota. I think that the size aspect has kind of come into the equation before on the previous staff. I think personally, you start talking about a really valuable guy that you could put it into sort of a slot. And if anybody watched Thursday Night Football and they saw, what was his name, Mark Smith or Mark Jones, the guy from New England that burned Buffalo for like the only touchdown they had all night, that's the kind of speed we're talking about. With Jalen Lloyd. He's the kind of guy that you can kind of put into some situations, get him into really, really good matchups for you, really bad ones for the defense. And when that speed kicks in and he gets a little bit of daylight, you're going to have a hard time catching angles on that guy to catch him as he's running away from you. So that's the kind of speed we're talking about with him. And that's honestly, the biggest thing I've seen so far about these offers outside of the offensive tackles and some other guys, they've been about speed. They've offered a couple of running backs. The one guy in North Carolina, whose name is escaping me at the moment, he was a high school state track champion and touts a 4.3840. So they are definitely going after some guys that are going to upgrade the athleticism on that roster. And I think that they're looking for it on both sides of the football, because if you can remember too, there was an offer on Saturday, which was days before Coach Rule gets announced, and you're sitting there going, man, he's already got these guys kind of circled in the middle. Well, he said he went and got to work like right away as he left the Carolina Panthers, and then he offers Dante Lovett like just himself. The Virginia Tech cornerback picks up an offer from the head coach at Nebraska, and Dante. It says a lot to me about Dante Lovett. And then Jalen Lloyd was the second guy, but those are both big-time speed guys. So clearly, Matt Rule is talking about upgrading athleticism on the roster.
Something that's kind of gotten noticed on Nebraska as they fill off this staff is that a lot of these former these staff members that are the new staff members, I should say, are have experience in their titles and in their previous jobs as recruiters. Does that seem to be, sometimes you want a mix of those guys, but does that seem to be a real strength of the staff moving forward as Matt Rule is putting together recruiters?
I think that that's a great sign. I think obviously you need guys that understand how that process works. You need guys that are going to have some sort of a background that you can leverage, guys who have ties to schools, etc. I think you're also going to want guys that are stepping out of current positions where they have already scouted areas, and there's guys there that maybe wherever they were at, they could never get. And if they changed, basically the perspective from coming at them now from Nebraska, working for Matt Rule, maybe it's the whole lens, and the narrative changes there enough for them to go ahead and give them another look. So I think that that's huge. Obviously, that Nebraska is doing that they're going out there and finding these. I'll say this as well. Not only are the recruiting guys, but they're young guys. And I'm thinking that when you start talking about the recruiting guys, being younger guys, having more energy, hitting that ground running, going out there, blazing the recruiting trail, that is a tough job. And it oftentimes comes down to just who's going to outwork who to go out there on the trail. And I think that that's a good combination for what Matt Rule is trying to pull together when it comes to his staff.
And the other question I had, kind of the more kind of a bigger look at this thing, is that Matt Rule kind of explained his hot areas that he's going to be recruiting in his introductory press conference. I mentioned Texas, I believe, Florida, New Jersey. He mentioned the 500-mile radius, but for places, hotbeds like that he didn't mention, like a California or something, Is that kind of alarming, or does he just kind of have his specialties that was he kind of referencing places he had been before and where his name kind of pops?
I think it comes back to like where he's been successful before. I think he's mentioning some areas that he felt like are more relevant to Nebraska as well. Now maybe that changes a little bit as you add USC and UCLA into the Big Ten Conference. But for the time being, I think what you're talking about there is that you've got kind of this four corners of like that Southwest region, Mid-Atlantic to Northeast region across to Nebraska, south down to Texas. That you're kind of casting this net. And it's kind of what I said in my 3 and Out on Wednesday. I felt like, they aren't going to necessarily all be in Florida. They're not all going to necessarily be in New Jersey. Like the first offer was in Maryland. So it falls outside the area, but geographically, you could be in Maryland or New Jersey and not know actually like what state you're really in if you're driving, because everything just looks kind of the same. It's very densely populated. So you just kind of lose that thing, as opposed to going from like Nebraska to Kansas and you can see the sign and you get the little Google alert. So I just feel like that was a little too specific. I would kind of zoom out just a little bit, and I can still see Georgia playing a factor. I can still see them trying to get, into Texas and then knocking down the door a little bit in Oklahoma and Louisiana and some Arkansas. But I thought it was really, really interesting that Matt Rule knew the term 500-mile radius, because that's been a term that I think was really more coined around like Bill Callahan and Sean Watson and Jay Norvell. So that goes back a few staffs anyway, to where I felt like that's really where that was kind of that came from. And then trying to basically increase the population of the state of Nebraska by extending the state border out to 500 miles, similar to like what Texas does.
Yeah, that I thought that was that caught my ear too. I thought that was really good that he knew that. Perhaps Trev Alberts was talking about that with him when he was interviewing him. All right, final question that I have, Brian, and maybe it's too early to tell, but just from the I guess the early tea leaves of what you're seeing. It's just fascinating how college football teams are going to build. You have year one under Matt Rule. Traditionally, he's kind of been able to build up and each year get better and better with his original recruiting classes. Now that he's back in college, the transfer portal is kind of a new thing to him. Do you envision Nebraska being a heavy factor once again in the transfer portal, or do you think because it's year one, he's got his time, that he's going to probably be hitting the high school recruits a little bit harder to build the foundation?
I lean more towards the latter, and that might surprise some people. Now, he may go transfer portal heavy on some positions. Like, let's think about in the trenches where he talked about he wants to be stout. He wants to own the line of scrimmage. Well, I don't think they're going to get there by recruiting high school guys. And obviously, I think people are pretty familiar with the performance that they saw out of the 2023 group and the need for talent across those spots. So maybe you go ahead and say, hey, look, we're going to have to get more physical immediately when it comes to positions along the line of scrimmage. But honestly, there were some words that he was saying in his press conference about, like, Sean asked a question about the first 4 days in his office. And he said, I don't think anything in the first 4 days in my office is going to be, is going to mean a whole lot in the big scope. And I took that away as being very, very interesting, because I think that he doesn't want to be too disruptive. I don't think he wants to be overly disruptive when it comes to his roster. I don't think he wants to be overly disruptive when it comes to the process. And I think that means you're going to see some portal transfers, but I think you're going to see a lot of high school guys. And it's going to be really interesting to see if any of the junior college stuff, remains valid as we kind of move forward. Are they going to kind of skip on that and say, we're going to go portal and high school and just glance right past the junior college guys that were already had Nebraska officers? I haven't heard anything at all on that front.
Always entertaining and always very helpful as we learn much from a Brian Munson interview. Brian, thanks for your time once again this Friday.
Have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you.
All right, there he goes, Brian Munson of Husker Online in on 3. Interesting stuff. We'll kind of break that down. Look forward to some other news. Former Big 8 rivals, Kansas and Missouri, set to play in the Liberty Bowl. Except for one of them says, no, I'm not doing that. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Coming up next here on the Ticket Water Cooler, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey, this is Jake Bachman. Fall and football are in the air, and the holiday season is on its way. Whether it's a shot or by researching your time to help develop possible in the future. In return, you'll be getting up to $500 diamond travel. To qualify for the study, you should be healthy and 19 years old or older. To learn more, call Solarion at 866-213-2965 or visit helpresearch.com/holiday.
What does continuing education mean to you? At Southeast Community College, it means helping you advance. Whether that's a fundamental course in accounting or marketing to help your business, or helping you become a better leader, SCC can help you take the next step. Financial assistance is available too. Learn more about our business development classes at southeast.edu/continuing education. SCC, your path to personal and professional development.
Start your Sundays with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Venue Catering and Events, we offer two of the most historic ballrooms in Lincoln. The Jasmine Room located in the historic Grand Manse in the heart of downtown, featuring a beautiful built-in antique bar, spacious patio, and soaring skylit ceilings. The Scottish Rite Ballroom, located just 2 blocks from the state's capital, boasts intricate hand-carved columns, rich dark wood floors, and lavish chandeliers. The perfect venues to host your wedding, corporate event, or much more. For availability and more information, call us at 402-603-6483.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Very mild conditions here for our Friday as we'll top out at around 62, but eventually behind a front this afternoon, temperatures will start to fall towards evening, and northwest winds could gust 40 to 45 as a wind advisory will be in effect this evening into tonight. A low of 15 tonight with a high tomorrow of around 37. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Trendy or traditional, Gary Michaels Clothiers specializes in men's tailored clothing. Off the rack or custom made to measure, there is simply no better shopping experience. Offering designer furnishings, sportswear, shoes, outerwear, and accessories for a man always concerned at looking his best. With world-class tailoring and personal service, all makes Gary Michaels Clothiers Nebraska's premier store for men. Come visit us now at Village Gardens, south of 56th and Pine Lake Road in Lincoln.
Are you looking for some holiday fun right in the heart of downtown Lincoln? Bring your friends and family to Lincoln's largest drive-through Christmas lights experience. This show features countless high-quality lights in vibrant colors, holiday props, and favorite characters of the season, all synchronized to music to enjoy in your car. Start a new holiday tradition this year and experience the magic of Nebraska Christmas Light Show at Haymarket Park from November 26th to January 3rd, 5 p.m. to midnight. Purchase tickets today at NebraskaChristmasLightShow.com. Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out Sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything: remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 460 or
Ticket Water, the ticket, and theticketfm.com.
We are rocking out here on the Ticket Water Cooler for our first edition of our own crossover with the happy hour. Rico.
Hello.
No, Rico, you're always here. Wait, no, Nick.
Hello.
Nick is the new addition to
cut him off.
the Ticket Water Cooler. Yeah, we can cut your mic.
Cut his mic.
Cut his mic. His mic is limp.
You might need to.
He was messing with it. You know.
Got a limp mic. Uh-oh.
So go to the doctor.
All right.
Yeah, go to the doctor about that one.
That's not going to be easy. Yeah, I'm
You
going
might
to
have
turn
your
your mic
yeah,
off.
turn his mic off.
Yeah, I don't know if it's making noise. but turn it off.
Unplug it before you spin it, because if you do that, it's going to get tangled.
All right. Well, he'll join us here in a second as he tries to fix his mic issues.
Tragic. Before you get into
Yeah.
what you were going to talk about, did you hear about Chris the Bear Felica? I don't know how to say his
The
last name.
Bear.
He is
Yeah.
leaving game day and going to Fox Big Noon Kickoff.
What a traitor.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Yeah.
This will be his. This will be his
It'll be
final.
on Fox Noon Kickoff.
This Saturday is set to be the final college game day for the Bear.
I don't know
If
how I feel
if
about
I'm
that.
ESPN, I'm not letting him do it.
Well, I don't feel like he's the biggest piece to college game day, but he's been there since 1995, I think.
I did not know he'd been there since 1995.
ESPN made the Bear. How dare he switch to Fox?
Well, he's probably getting paid more.
He's probably.
Did you
getting
see his
paid more,
record this year was actually like really good. Like if
Was
you
it?
would have followed Bears bets, you would have made a decent amount of money.
Hmm.
He knows what he's talking about.
Now I know you guys do a deal too. Rico, you would not have made a whole lot of money. if
No,
I followed you.
I would have lost you a lot of money.
Yeah.
Nick would have made you a lot of money.
I predicted games pretty well in the captain, so I'm pretty
Yeah?
happy.
Where
We
you
don't,
at?
we don't do spread, but we just
Oh,
do
see,
picks all together.
nah, we do
Which
spreads.
yeah, spreads are a lot more difficult.
And we always do just the dumbest spreads. So like there was a couple ones where like Alabama had like 30-point spreads. We were trying to do those ones. Yeah.
Yeah, those ones. That's why I love college football spreads. The NFL, everything's like between 3 and 7 points mostly, and it's just a crapshoot. College football, it's like, one team's going to win, but are they going to win by 28.5? Yeah. Yeah.
This is weird.
What's weird?
Sorry, I'm looking at Twitter and I'm not going to name names, but there's a fan account that got a picture of Matt Rule meeting with Malachi Coleman at Lincoln East from a student at Lincoln East, but it's like kind of like not far away, but couple feet away, and like the picture you can tell like the phone was being held at like a
You
hip
don't
or
want to
something.
look like he's taking a picture?
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
That's weird.
But that's okay. All right, let's run through some of this news as Nick is here. He's finally
We got
finally
it?
in.
Okay, tell Rashawn never to mess with a microphone again.
All right.
All right, we're here.
All right, I've got a few stories I want you guys to react to. Now, you don't have to say too much because we don't have too much time, but just want to kind of run through the college football news over the last couple of days. Blake Corum out for the season.
Sad.
What does this mean for Michigan's playoff hopes?
They'll still make the playoff. They'll beat Purdue, but
Really?
they're going to get rolled in the playoff.
Without Blake Corum, they're gonna beat Purdue.
Yeah, didn't you see their running back against Ohio State?
I did.
You've seen Devin Mockabee though, right? Haven't?
Yeah, I don't think they have anything to worry about.
Oh no, yeah, okay, should.
At least against Purdue. But who are they gonna end up playing? Probably TCU.
Yeah, it depends here. We'll see.
Big 12 championship game is very intriguing tomorrow.
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
Because Chris Kleiman's teams are all. It's not like they're ultra talented. They're just always disciplined and prepared.
And how about once the college football playoff comes up, Kansas State's playing for a playoff berth. in
Yeah.
that. So that'll be fun about the conference championship game.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see an upset there. USC and Utah. You guys think USC
Utah
gets
already
it
beat
done?
them once.
Yeah, this is USC fully deserves to
Why?
get in to avenge your loss. I think.
USC is going to win.
Why?
No, I think USC
Why are
wins
you so
handily.
confident about that?
'Cause
Utah beat him already.
Caleb Williams is playing out of his
Well, here's
mind.
what's even more intriguing. We've seen Lincoln Riley teams in the playoffs. We know how that's going to go.
Yeah.
But if Lincoln Riley and USC lose tonight, then Caleb Williams can't get the Heisman. Then do we just not give out a Heisman this year?
No, I think CJ Stroud probably gets it.
That's the most boring Heisman.
It'd be awful.
If TCU wins,
Max Duggan.
Max Duggan.
He doesn't have
I
a stats,
don't
but
think so.
Why? He took his team to the playoff. He has great. Stop. He has great stats. He has great stats. He's clearly the best player in the Big 12.
What is his stats?
I don't know.
It's not.
I just know that he has great stats. He's like top 5 in Heisman voting.
It's not Stetson Bennett stats.
He's better.
Okay,
he's better than Stetson Bennett. He's better than Stetson Bennett.
That's a close one.
Max Duggan does not have a 5-star tight end, 2 5-star receivers, and a 5-star running back standing behind
who are
a
those
5-star offensive
He also
line.
doesn't have a championship.
Who are those 5 stars?
I couldn't name them, but I know they're 5 stars.
So we don't know they're 5 stars.
They're
We know
definitely 5 stars. Brock Bowers is a 5-star.
We know Brock Bowers is probably the best tight end in the country.
Their running backs aren't great. They're kind of a running back by committee. It's not like
Yeah,
they
they're
have
all 5
Sony
stars,
Michel
though.
or anybody back there.
They got Sonny Michel, James White, James Cook.
Yeah.
Don't need them.
DeAndre Swift.
They're surrounded by 5 stars.
DeAndre Swift rocking with the Lions nowadays.
You still sticking with the Lions?
He's a big Lions guy.
They got a game against the Jags this weekend. We'll see. It's at home, Ford Field.
I got to ask you guys this while you look up those stats. Cade McNamara transfer to Iowa. Does that do anything for you?
No, especially because they're losing all of their receivers.
It tells me that Brian Ferentz is 100% leaving for the NFL.
Yeah.
I like that was so I was talking to Iowa guys when I was in Iowa City 7 days ago.
Yeah.
Was Brian Ferentz is getting shipped off. Like that's the mentality.
That's gotta happen.
It's Brian Ferentz is getting shipped off to the NFL.
Yeah.
Like that's how it is. He's not getting a job. He's getting shipped. Like it's like you're
firing,
saying you're saying your teenager at a boarding school.
You're gone.
Well, it needs to happen.
So and here's the deal. Like they have, Padilla entered the portal, or Padilla entered the portal, and Spencer Petras is graduating. So here we are.
All right,
really
a few more
interesting.
stories to get to. Ex-Texas coach Tom Herman accepts the Florida Atlantic job. Of course, we saw, that job has been good over the years.
Yeah.
Carl didn't do well there.
Well, Carl didn't do much coaching there.
He did a little bit of coaching, just a little bit off the field as well. Obviously,
Off-the-field
Lane
coaching.
Kiffin did really well there. And then Willie Taggart is now just not good at all.
Willie Taggart's just Willie
He got
Taggart.
fired after 3 seasons. You like Tom Herman there, keeping in mind he actually is 54-22 in his career with Houston and Texas.
I like Tom Herman. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he got a fair shake at Texas.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He was fine at Texas, not great. It's like Florida. If you're fine, you're
Yeah.
out.
I think their expectations are too high. You're never going to win a national
Where
championship.
is,
at Texas.
Where is the guy that's Charlie Strong? Where's Charlie Strong at?
That's a good
nowadays?
question.
Charlie Strong, last I checked, was at South Florida.
Remember when
But
Charlie?
now South Florida's open.
Remember when Charlie Strong beat Oklahoma and that
That's right. Now I
picture
remember.
surfaced of his
Now I
like
remember.
really long finger?
Oh,
Yes, he was pointing out. That was
terrifying.
so scary.
So Charlie Strong is now the co-defensive coordinator and linebackers coach at the University of Miami.
Oh, that staff, which massively failed.
Horrible.
Yeah, that
this
stuff
year.
would totally worked.
Which we all just loved in the offseason. At least I did.
We love the Oregon coaches going other places and failing miserably.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Cristobal, you have Taggart.
There's something about up there in Oregon. They win at
They
Oregon.
just win, unless you're playing Oregon State and first-time head coach Jonathan Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Beavers.
He's good at what he does.
He is.
All right. How about
Figure out a way to get Oregon State to a top 15 program.
I love how Corvallis, though, too. They'll show up.
Yeah.
Corvallis
Like, if
is
they start
wild.
winning, Corvallis goes crazy.
Shout out
for
to
them.
Mike Riley.
No, that's not going to happen. Except for Mike Riley going to basketball game after fired Mike Riley.
Mike Riley
Shout out
Mike Riley kept Oregon State consistent. Lee 6-6.
Mike Riley left, and then Dennis Erickson came in and had the best Oregon State seasons of all time. He came back and did Mike Riley things.
Leave my mans alone.
What if a 12-team college football playoff existed since the start of the BCS era in 1998? Matt Brown from The Athletic looked at it. 66 schools would have appeared in the playoffs.
Great.
So that is good news. Ohio State would have made it 18 times.
Jeez. That makes sense.
11 Power 5 schools would have never earned a bid, including Purdue, Northwestern, Minnesota, and Rutgers.
Minnesota never would have made it?
Minnesota never would have made it.
They wouldn't have made it. 12 team.
Yeah, 12
Yeah.
team.
So what happened?
What about
in
that? Like
2019 game
when they were
year?
in 11-2.
Yeah,
That's this is all from Matt Brown. I have to go back and look
he's probably
specifically.
just taking the top 12 teams.
Well, no, and the conference champions.
Yeah.
And that,
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it kind of they might have been like 13 or 14. I think they were 14th, and that was
Because they played in the Outback Bowl that year, right? And lost
Yeah.
I think so.
to Auburn.
No, they won.
They won that
They
one.
did
that
against
game.
the
Yeah.
Outback Bowl.
Yeah.
The dead Outback Bowl.
When was the last time Nebraska would have made the playoffs?
2009.
No, it probably would have been. Okay, so 2010. I know. I mean, we're.
Sorry, that's really loud music.
okay.
They were a top 10 team, but then they dropped all the way out of the top 25, I believe.
I'm thinking of all those years that they played Northwestern as a top 10 team at home, and
2001.
Like, would it be like
2001 is
No,
the correct answer.
they would have made it in 2009.
They would not have made it in 2009.
No, because they were the like 19th best team. They were like ranked 19th
until they won the bowl game.
In the game against.
What were they ranked against Texas?
They were like they were just
like 22nd.
Yeah, they were just
Were
inside
they?
the top 25.
They had 4 losses every year. Remember, 4 losses
Yeah.
is not going to get you in the playoffs.
Well, I thought that was their 4th loss.
No, they had 4 losses going
Into
the
it?
Texas one was.
That's
the
what I'm
4th loss,
saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they would have been 9-3 at that.
Shut out Arizona. Take that, Nick Foles.
Tragic.
All right, that'll wrap it up for our first version of the crossover. Many more to come, but happy hour coming up next here on 93.7 The Ticket.